Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. Thank you for joining me. Wherever you are joining me, rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. If you're joining me on the YouTube channel, you know what to do. We're heading towards those 3,000 subs. I need y'all to go ahead and help your boy out. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. We want to hear from you. We love hearing from you. My Facebook community, we love hearing from you. Twitter, it's up always over there. And I really do appreciate those day ones who've been riding with me. I'm really legit bothered by the NBA playoffs. And the reason that I'm legitimately bothered, and I ain't going to hold you because I'm already late today, had other things to do this morning, but I was watching as the Mavericks went up 2-0. I'm sorry, was it 2-0? 2-0 in a series, or 2-1 in a series that everybody predicted they would get swept in once Luka Doncic went down. Except the Mavericks have a point guard that backs up Luka Doncic named Jalen Brunson. And here's what I know about Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson was a stud in high school. He was a monster. And because he wasn't 6'2", 6'1", 6'3", 6'5", because he wasn't those measurables, because he didn't jump out the gym, because he didn't do fancy tricks with the ball, he didn't get as much love as you would think someone like Jalen Brunson should get. He ended up going to Villanova. Now, no shade to Villanova, but that's not normally where you see elite level talents going. Even and shout out to Jay Wright, who just announced his retirement. Kind of shocking. I thought he was the best coach in the game. Now that probably resorts back to Bill Self. Probably. So, he ends up going to Villanova. And surprise, surprise, he does exactly what he did in high school. Balls the F out. Monster, player of the year, national championships, breaks all the records, and then he gets to the NBA draft, and we just watch as he does not go. Why? For the exact same reasons that he didn't go to a Duke or North Carolina or one of these other extremely large blue blood programs. Because people are looking at the measurables. Well, in the NBA, his size is going to be a detriment. Well, in the NBA, can he get his own shot? In the NBA, the guys are going to be faster than him. Except every time we turn on the film, all of those guys that you projected higher than him, all of them were getting cooked by him, were getting locked down by him. He had no problems filling up the stat sheet as in high school against all the top prospects. He had no problem filling up the stat sheet in college against all the top prospects. So why would he have an issue doing that in the NBA? And this, my friends, is the fundamental problem with the way in which things are done in sports today. Everybody is looking for the measurables, the easy to identify. Nobody wants to do their job anymore. Hey, give me this 6'4" point guard. Why? Because he's 6'4", and I can teach him these. The worst thing that happens is that coaches are so arrogant that they think that if you just give them the measurables, that they can teach the skills. I'm going to say that again. As a coach, I'm saying this. Coaches are so arrogant that they believe that if you give them the measurables, they can teach the skills. I know because I'm the same way. Hey, just give me the clay. I'll mold it. I do that all the time. Look, I don't care. Just give me the bodies and I'll make them what they're supposed to be. Except the problem with that is if I only look for the bodies, then I miss the guys and I miss the girls and I miss the men and I miss the women who are just really good at doing it already. Because we can't mold, shape, develop heart. We can't mold, shape, develop mentality. We think we can, but we can't. Mental fortitude is not something that is built through the outside. Mental fortitude and heart are things that are built inside. And unless I can go into your brain and program it to be able to study this work and retain it, then I can't do anything for you. Now, if you already have that, I can expand and develop. If you already have heart, I can expand and develop heart. If you already have that mental acuity, I can develop and expand on the mental. But if you don't have it, then I can't improve it. And every coach that tells you they can, they're lying. So we keep looking for the next. We keep looking for the ideal. I remember being in a recruitment meeting, right? We were getting ready to go out on the road to high schools and recruit when I was coaching in college. And the coach had measurables on the board of the players that we were looking for and what they should look like. Well, if I start with what the player should look like physically, that means that if the player doesn't match those physical attributes, I'm probably not going to look at him, which means that I have already built in a blind spot to talent. See, Jalen Brunson fell into that blind spot because the people in the NBA have told you, have fed you, that size is everything. They've told you that in the NFL, size is everything. They've told you that in college, size is everything. You know where they seem to not really care about size at? On the soccer pitch, which is interesting, right? On the soccer pitch, it seems to be all about skill. The most skilled players are the ones that elevate. And then when you add elite level athleticism to the skills, that's when you end up with Cristiano Ronaldo. That's when you end up with, Kylian Mbappe. That's when you end up with those guys. When you add the size and the athleticism to the skill, that's when you end up with otherworldly talents. But if you look around soccer, the 5'6" dude has an opportunity to rock the same way as the 6'6" dude does. Nobody's saying, oh, well, he's 5'6", so that's not going to work. But in predominantly American sports, we're so busy looking at the measurables. How tall is he? How big is he? How fast can she run? How high can she jump? How fast is their lateral movement? We spend so much time looking at these measurables that we eliminate somebody before we ever turn the film on. So now the Maverick season is supposed to be over because Luka Doncic is on the court or is hurt. Except nobody told Jalen Brunson that he wasn't supposed to play like Luka Doncic. And to a certain extent, better, because I believe his basketball IQ is higher. And Luka Doncic has a really, really high basketball IQ. But this is who Jalen Brunson is. Anybody that's surprised by what he's doing has never watched him play basketball. So the question becomes, why did it take this? Why did it take this happening in order for him to get this opportunity? Why did it take for the all-pro or the first team all-NBA hopeful to get injured for us to really see what Jalen Brunson can do? Hey, maybe you don't have to play Luka Doncic 42 minutes a game, run him into the ground to where you don't get as an effective him, or he gets hurt. You could give this guy a chance. All of the teams, this will be the thing. Watch. When this is all over, does Jalen Brunson end up starting for somebody else's team? Because he can't start at point guard. Luka's there, right? Will he end up as a starter on somebody else's team? Or will he go back to the role of just a backup, getting 12 to 15 minutes a game, wallowing, while other guys get the opportunity to ball because they're taller, because they jump higher, because their three-point percentage might be higher, instead of looking at somebody's overall game? This is how we make mistakes all the time in football. Oh, well, he's only 5'11", so he can't be a really good offensive lineman. Says who? Some of the best linemen I've seen in high school are the undersized ones. And then colleges tell them you can't play because you're not 6'5" or you're not 6'3" and 300 pounds. But then they look for a 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", 300-plus pounder and then wonder why the guy can't move. Well, because nobody's supposed to be 300 pounds. Nobody is supposed to be running around here at 325, 330. Those are called anomalies. Meanwhile, they're missing all the talent. They're missing the 6-foot guy, the 6'1" guy, the 5'11" guy. And then you see a Coastal Carolina go out and recruit those guys. They all of a sudden start having a lot of success with those guys. And what do? They start trying to recruit the 6'3", 6'4", 6'5" offensive linemen. Come on, Coastal Carolina. You saw the blueprint for success. We're going to zig where they zag. We're going to do something different than what they do because we know that there's an abundance of talent over here that's untapped. And as soon as you start winning with the untapped talent, you start going and trying to get the leftovers of the picked over, run through. That's like sloppy seconds, people. Do you really want the 8th, 9th, 10th, 20th best offensive lineman that's 6'3", 6'4"? Or do you want the absolute best 5'11" offensive lineman in the country? Because you had a market. They even talked about it. They would put up all of the heights of your offensive linemen during games. It was impressive. You know what that said? It started making these coaches go, it don't matter how tall you are. lying to these kids. It don't matter how tall you are. If you can play, you can play. Lies. I'll never tell my kids those lies again. Never. I'll never lie to them and tell them it doesn't matter about size. It 100% matters about size. I've seen offensive linemen who were dogs not be the prototypical size, and they get cut. And they don't get the opportunity. I've seen wide receivers be monsters. They're not the prototypical size. They don't run the fastest. They don't get the opportunity. Defensive linemen, linebackers, DBs, quarterbacks. It's not just a race thing. It's a size thing. It's a measurables thing. Oh, well, he didn't run sub 4.6 out of high school, so he must not be a good wide receiver. Meanwhile, he had 125 catches, 1,000 yards, and like 20-something touchdowns. Oh, he's not 4.5 fast. Yet when I watch film on him, nobody ever catches him. He pulls away from everybody. Have we become so lazy that we're not willing to watch for the things that these players can do? All we do is just try to take the quick route, get the measurables, and then spend all of our time trying to make them into some version of the kid that doesn't fit the measurables. If you find a unicorn, ladies and gentlemen, ride him. I'm not saying don't go after the 6'8", 325-pound offensive tackle who can bend and move and is aggressive and has grades. But show me a bunch of 6'8", 300-plus pound offensive linemen who are really, really good. For every one 6'8", 300-pound offensive lineman you can find, I can find 10 guys who are just as good, who are 5'11", 6'1", 6'2", 6 foot. All of those sizes that you say are too small to play in college. All of those sizes that never get a chance to play in the NFL. They would rather move a guy from guard to center who's never played center than to give the job to somebody who's undersized at center, who's played center at a high level their entire life. Somebody make it make sense. Somebody make it make sense. And we wonder why the NFL draft and the NBA draft is full of swing and misses. I don't even want to call them busts because it's not the player's fault that somebody invested in them because they thought they could teach them how to be a better ball player. It's not the player's fault. They don't draft themselves. They don't draft themselves. It's on the people who are looking at the players, the people who are evaluating the players. The hell are you doing? Every year we see it. And every year we say, man, I can't understand how this kid, how this girl, every year we say it. And just when we think we've got one, just when we think we've figured out what it is you're looking for, you switch up the code. I've got a 6'4", ultra athletic wide receiver DB combo dude going to a D2 school when I'm watching a bunch of dudes who can't hold his jock athletically go to Division I programs. Somebody tell me how that happens. the game is off, and it'll remain off until somebody stops trying to be a sheep and starts following their own path. And until then, you guys are going to keep losing your jobs because you're going to keep missing on talent, and you're going to waste time trying to develop people when you have talent already sitting in front of you that just might not look like you want it to look. Jalen Brunson doesn't look anything like Luka Doncic. He sure does play like him, though. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. We do this thing a few times a week. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree. But whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. If you're joining me on the YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe. You see what it is, 3,000 subs. We're heading that way. Until Monday, y'all take it easy. Peace.